Hi, good morning from Cairo. Well, it's actually almost noon. I just landed after a very long flight, so I don't have any specific plans for today. I think I'll start slowly and just take a little walk in the city because tomorrow morning I'm going to the pyramids. I brought two books with me. The first one is The Invention of Morel by Adolfo Bioy Casares. A friend on Instagram recommended this, saying I love it because Bioy was a close friend of Jorge Luis Borges, and if you remember Talon Ukbar Orbis Tertius, they actually found this encyclopedia at Bioy's house. Yes, that Bioy. It's a very short book, only about 100 pages, and I read about half of it on the plane, and I have to say I'm hooked by it. It's written in the form of a diary, which I found very interesting because I just read The Wall by Marlen Haushofer, which is like a woman's diary in a deserted mountain valley, and this one is like a man's diary on a deserted island. I actually find The Invention of Morel more readable because it has this constant sense of mystery that keeps pulling you forward. The narrator is a fugitive. He comes to this island because it's abandoned, and apparently everyone who came here before him died from a mysterious disease. But the buildings on the island are actually very well constructed. Let me show you a picture. It has a museum, a swimming pool, and a chapel. And at first, he seems completely alone, until one day a group of people suddenly appears, and among them is a woman named Faustine. He falls in love with her, watching her every day, but she just ignores him as if he doesn't exist. And then there's this man named Morel who often talks to her, but Faustine doesn't appear to like him either. Even stranger, the narrator starts hearing these people repeat the same dialogue he heard days earlier, and what's even more surreal, there are two suns and two moons in the sky following their arrival. I really cannot wait to find out what's exactly going on. And I also brought Moments of Being by Virginia Woolf, and this is said to be her only autobiographical collection. I'm reading it because I actually plan to make a video on To the Lighthouse, which is probably Woolf's most autobiographical novel, and I think this book is really helpful. In the second part, A Sketch of the Past, she writes a lot about her childhood memories of her family's summer house in Cornwall, and the Ramsey family's story at the summer house is largely based on these memories. But Woolf also talks in this book about what she calls moments of being and moments of non-being. She says that most of the time we live in a state of non-being, just going through daily routine, half conscious, letting time pass by without really noticing it. But every once in a while, there are exceptional moments of joy, of despair, of shock, and these can be moments of revelation, moments that reveal some deeper order behind appearances, and these are moments of being. And I feel this is also a key theme in To the Lighthouse. Okay, so now I'll go grab some lunch and explore the city of Cairo. I took a walk in the Zamalek district in the afternoon and came across some really cute little shops. I think it is nice to slow down for a bit because I need the energy for the pyramids the next morning. I visited the Pyramids of Giza and the Grand Egyptian Museum afterwards. The two are quite close to each other, so it's easy to visit them in the same day. There's a very interesting line in The Invention of Morel. The narrator says he was working on a research project before his trial, and it's about immortality.
I believe we lose immortality because we have not conquered our opposition to death. We keep insisting on the primary, rudimentary idea that a whole body should be kept alive. We should seek to preserve only the part that has to do with consciousness. While the pharaohs mummified their remains, filled their massive tombs with treasures, all to keep their physical forms intact for eternity. I guess they believed as long as the body endured, the soul, at least its vital parts, could continue its existence in the afterlife. But what did they really mean by eternity? Was it the survival of matter, or the endurance of awareness and thoughts? Which of these is closer to immortality? In To the Lighthouse, Virginia Woolf writes, "The very stone one kicks with one's boot will outlast Shakespeare." While thousands of years later, these pyramids, these stones, are still standing. They've outlasted empires. Even the pharaoh's flesh and bones remain. Well, the bones at least. But is this the immortality they've been looking for? I also visited the Old Egyptian Museum the next day, where the mummies are displayed. It's strange to think, did they ever imagine their bodies would one day rest in glass cases, seen by visitors from around the world? Tutankhamun's golden mask is here too, but we were not allowed to film. So that was my short but memorable stay in Cairo. The next day I headed south to Aswan to see a very different side of the Nile. Hey guys, I just arrived in Aswan. And I just want to show you the view from my room because it's got a nice view of the Nile. I went to the Philae Temple the next morning. It was dedicated to the goddess Isis and was relocated from its original island to protect it from flooding after the Aswan High Dam was built. So now it stands on this small island in the Nile surrounded by water, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places in Aswan. I had lunch at the Old Cataract Hotel, where Agatha Christie once stayed and set parts of her novel Death on the Nile. The film adaptation was also shot here. Actually, I was basically following the route from the Death of the Nile from Cairo to Aswan to Luxor, although I didn't have time to travel to Abu Simbel. As the sun began to sink, I boarded a felucca drifting along the Nile. The wind was soft, the sky turning gold, and it was the perfect farewell to Aswan. So thank you so much for watching this vlog. I'm heading to Luxor the next morning, so I'll see you there in my next video.